I'm pretty sure we all saw that one coming. Coming off a season where at the beginning of the year, many had Spencer Rattler as the best quarterback in the country and a potential Heisman candidate, to a year where he ended up as a backup to a true freshman. Spencer Rattler, former quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners, will be the quarterback of the South Carolina Gamecocks next year. So while Spencer Rattler's former coach Lincoln Riley chose to run away from the SEC, which I ain't mad because he made the right choice going to USC, but while he ran from the SEC, Spencer Rattler decided to take it head on.
Hey, yo!
Spencer Rattler is joining a South Carolina team that finished off as the second worst offense in the entire SEC. On top of that, South Carolina is losing the team's scrimmage yards leader, Zaquandre White, to the NFL draft. However, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom for my boy Spencer Rattler. He is keeping the team's leading receiver, Josh Vaughn, who in 12 games had 43 receptions for 668 yards and 6 touchdowns, and his tight end, Jaheim Bell, who had in 11 games 25 catches for 338 yards and 3 touchdowns, as well as he brought his former Oklahoma Sooner teammate Austin Stogner to the team as well. And he had a kind of rough junior year where he only had in 9 games 14 catches for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, his sophomore year, he had a much more promising stat line of in 8 games 26 catches for 422 yards and 3 touchdowns. On top of that, South Carolina is bringing back 4 starting offensive linemen. However, they are losing their senior center, so obviously, as most of y'all should know, the center position is kind of important, so that will be needing to be addressed. However, bringing back 4 offensive linemen is huge. After taking a second to really think about this move, I actually really like this move for Spencer Rattler. His biggest issue is he does a very poor job of going through his progressions, and he gets confused a lot and tries to force a lot of throws versus very complicated defenses. So instead of trying to running away from it, he goes and attacks it head on. Now, that's not saying he's going to succeed. However, if he's able to go to South Carolina for a year and really understand how defenses work and doesn't try and force so many throws and really just takes what the defense gives him and then uses that God-given arm that he has. I still say if he was to decide to go to the NFL draft, I think he would have had the best arm out of all the quarterbacks available. However, his decision making is not letting him go to the NFL. So if he goes to South Carolina, goes and he proves that, hey, you know what? I've learned how to read defenses better. I'm learning how to pick and choose the throws that I need to make. Again, taking what the defense gives him. And he goes out there, and especially being able to go to a team where you can really improve upon. I mean, they finished 6-6 and they were 3-6 in conference play. Like, that's a lot of room to really take South Carolina up a couple notches. So if you're able to show, hey, I could bring a team down from not even being in the top 25 to making them a top 25 team. You go out there, you put up a nice, it doesn't even need to be a Heisman season, just like 3,000 yards, like a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. If you go for 3,000 yards, 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and about 400 on the ground, 400 on the ground, Spencer Rattler next year is looking like, because I'm looking at the potential quarterbacks coming out next year. So obviously Bryce Young would be someone that you'd have to be taking a look at. But other than that, he would really be putting himself in a position to be one of the better quarterbacks in the 2023 NFL draft. And for anybody who might be wondering why he is leaving Oklahoma, it was clear as day. When you have 40, 50, 60,000 people, however many the Oklahoma Sooners stadium holds, when you have that many people all screaming, "We want Caleb!"
Feed your home crowd. Now they're doing the "We want Caleb."
It kind of lets you know where you stand with the program, especially having a program be so wishy-washy, because then they started calling out for Spencer Rattler later in the season when Caleb was struggling. And based off of just the limited experience that I've seen of Spencer Rattler, just like on the field, when he was in high school, things like that, he needs to be in a system that like fully trusts in him and lets him not do what he wants, but let him play without having feeling like he's getting watched all the time, where like, oh, if I make one mistake, I'm about to get pulled out. Because that's really what it was. As soon as Caleb Williams stepped onto the field in Oklahoma, it was over. I mean, I even said it when Spencer Rattler was coming out. Spencer Rattler came out in the recruiting class right after Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, and I just didn't think he was like the craziest 5-star number 1 overall quarterback in the country I've ever seen. I've seen guys now. He's developed his arm talent a ton, and obviously he's improved a lot. However, I've just never really seen him as being like that standout guy. Just that, like, yeah, he's able to put up numbers, but I feel like that was more so just the offense that he had around him. And then when you bring in a guy like Caleb Williams, who really does have that generational type talent, a guy who is like, okay, no, he has even better arm talent than Spencer Rattler. He's younger, is quicker. He just stepped onto the field and just had that confidence. You knew he was going to be taking them QB1 snaps next year. So it was good that Spencer Rattler got out of there, and he's now in a situation where he can really go out and prove it all in his senior year and get one last chance. He's more than likely making the NFL. It's just where he's going to go in the NFL. He's going to be a top first round draft pick, top 3 round draft pick, undrafted free agent. We won't know until that comes around, but hey, every day there's something else happening in the college football world. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications if you want to stay up to date with all your college football and high school football news. But with all that being said, I love and appreciate all y'all. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Ciao. What was it, 2-3 years ago, like maybe 4 years ago, nobody could enter the transfer portal. It was only for like academic reasons that you could hit the transfer. Now you can hit the transfer portal if they didn't have the right cleats that I wanted. Now I want to hit the transfer portal now. Everybody and their mother is hitting the transfer portal, and there was no bigger name that hit the transfer portal and is now found a new home than my boy Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers was the number 1 quarterback coming out of South Lake Carroll High School. And he's honestly regarded as like one of those generational type talent quarterbacks. I have yet to see the kid has a really strong arm, but that generational type talent, I feel like they're just trying to find another Texas quarterback that they can call Patrick Mahomes again. I don't know why, but Quinn Ewers is a very talented kid. Went to Ohio State, and to me, if you guys did not watch the last episode of In the Huddle, to me, Quinn Ewers, which by the way, I called this. Hey, rewind the tape. You see, I called this. You guys should be listening to the show. Hit that subscribe button right now and leave this video a like. But yeah, definitely Quinn Ewers. He pulled a Justin Fields in my opinion, where he went to a team that had an established starter. CJ Stroud was going to be him. Like to go to Ohio State, especially to go early. CJ Stroud was there. There's a couple other guys over there that are just